Okay, so I have no actual plans for what the intro of this episode is going to be, so I'm just gonna kind of give a rundown of what my life is right now. I am 21 days out from graduating, and people keep asking me how I feel about that. And honestly, it feels like I am approaching a blank slate. I don't really have a lot lined up. I have had a couple job interviews, and I'll honestly say it. The stuff that I'm doing, the things I'm talking about in these episodes for this podcast have honestly been great reminders to me about how I operate and how confident I am in my ways, because I've definitely had to stand on business when it comes to interviewing with these employers, because the job market's pretty tough right now, and some of the employers I've been talking with have been they're, I would say, kind of scummy. And so me as a entering graphic designer in the field, I've definitely had to make sure that I know my worth and make sure I get what I'm worth and to get what is right and fair to me, especially to survive in this economy. And I guess this will be my message before we start this episode is when you're talking to employers, especially as a professional creative, if you're just entering into the industry, it's so important to have confidence not only to survive the interview, but also just to make sure that you're getting what you're worth. And at this point, you have to stand on that because it's not rude or selfish just to make sure that you're going to get the means to survive. It's not rude. It should be just common sense. But some of these employers I've been interviewing with, they kind of just like they kind of step back when I kind of ask what rate I need to be paid at. So, yeah, just a reminder, all creatives, know your worth. Make sure you advocate for yourself and don't be scared. Don't be scared. And if you continue to ask what you're worth, then you're eventually going to get it. You just have to continue to stand on business. Yeah, and with that, we're going to start the episode off there. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of As a Creative, the podcast focusing on empowering creatives, giving them the tools and knowledge to thrive in the industry. My name is Robin, and in this episode, we are going to be elaborating more on something that I discussed last episode. So, last episode, I discussed how to deal with rejection and failure, and an aspect of that, which I touched upon, was the topic of being authentic to yourself and making sure that you are creating from a natural place from you. And I realized when I was articulating my points for that particular topic or aspect of that video that the idea of being authentic with your work and making sure that it's coming from a natural place is a pretty vague thing to be saying. And I would like to use this episode to elaborate on that. And this topic definitely relates to making sure you have a healthy connection to what you do. And so, this episode, we're going to be talking about that. And I definitely do believe that there will be times where you will be very unclear on if you have a healthy connection to creating, to your passion, to especially in the instance where it becomes your career. You'll definitely get tired of it, especially if you're doing it a lot. And it happens to industry professionals. It happens to the people who have quote quote made it in the industry. At some point, at one point or another, you're definitely going to dread what you do. So in this episode, I will be discussing how to maintain a healthy connection to your passion, to creating, especially in the instances where it becomes your career. And yeah, let's get into it. So I think the first realization that you have to make is to realize that it happens to everybody. Everyone eventually will get tired or fed up of what they do. regardless if it was a passion that they turned into a career. Eventually everybody gets tired of what they do, and just because you are tired or you're just fed up with it, it doesn't mean that it was the wrong decision for you to pursue your passions. You just gotta find ways to stay curious about your general career path and to keep yourself interested and invested. And one of the ways to do that is to always be looking for inspiration from the outside world, from things around you. And the ways that I do this is Pinterest, social media obviously is like the easiest and the largest outlet to find inspiration for creativity. But like not only that, but just getting out into the world to be socializing with friends, just socializing in general, getting out there to support other creatives. And not only that, like even just watching a movie or just listening to a podcast, finding ways to absorb knowledge from the outside world and just find a way to instill a mindset into yourself to always be curious, because that's the thing that will keep you excited about life. Not only that, but it will allow you to absorb so much more and to just learn different things. And that is so important in order to pour different ideas into your work, but also just to distract yourself from your passion or your career. Because if you're going to be constantly doing something all the time, of course it's going to be at times draining and times that you're going to be tired of it. But find ways to take a step back and to look to the outside world, to always be curious and try to find inspiration. Not only you can even just like walk in a different environment or walk in the city or just walk and look around you and just always look with curiosity and always try to find inspiration from everything around you. Just not only just to distract yourself, but to pour it back into your work and to give yourself a break as well. And finding the opportunities to absorb from the outside world and to just be curious. This leads me to my next point, which is to take advantage of any downtime you have, especially in the times and the moments that you are busy. And just like you prioritize getting things done, you also have to prioritize giving yourself a break and giving your time the ability to revive and rejuvenate. And this is something that I've always struggled with. I have been a constantly busy individual for the last 9 years of my life, and it has to do partially because of the things I partake in, such as being a college student, having schoolwork to do, being a college athlete, and how demanding that lifestyle is. It always gives me things to do, but also I continually find things to do. I realize I am a very ambitious individual that will always seek out opportunities, and that in itself is a reason why I will never be bored. And the realization that I've had to make in these last 2 or 3 months is to realize that the way that I live my life right now, the lifestyle that I have, it is a choice. All of what I do is a choice. I have the choice to not do any of it. I have the choice to not be in college. I have the choice to not be a college athlete. I have the choice to just sit at home and do nothing. And this realization that this constantly busy life that I have is a choice, I realize that I can also make the choice to prioritize giving myself a break, to give myself the ability to rejuvenate and revive, and to just take a step back just once in a while. And this realization that I've made, that the way I live my life is a choice, it's also made me more aware that this way of life makes me more prone to burnout, that makes me more prone to being tired with what I do as a creative, to being fed up with creating overall. But I realized that, again, this is a choice, the way that I live my life, and just like how it's a choice, I have the ability to choose to give myself the ability to relax and to refuel and just reset my mind and just give myself a break. And honestly, those small moments where I'm able to give myself a break, it gives me the time to not only rejuvenate myself, but also honestly give me the space to recognize that I still do like what I do, in that it's normal for you to get tired of what you do. It happens to everybody. And if you're constantly doing something, of course you're going to get bored of it. Of course you're eventually going to get fed up of it. And being a creative is no exception. And so find ways to give yourself a break, to prioritize rest, to rejuvenate yourself, and give yourself the ability to recognize that you still like what you do, that you still like creating. And just because you're constantly doing it and at times you get tired of it, it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't like what you do. You're just tired. In addition to that, you have to find the worth in what you do. And this is extremely important because if you're not able to find the value or the worth in what you make, what you create, it's going to be very hard for you to want to continue. And there is a difference between genuinely not wanting to do something and not wanting to do something because you're tired. And if you are constantly working yourself and not giving yourself a break or the ability to indulge in other things, you're not going to have a clear distinction of you being satisfied with what you're doing. And taking a step back and overall reflecting on why you want to create, why do you like to create, and what do you get out of it, you will be able to maintain the value that you see in your work, and to again maintain a genuine and healthy connection to what you do. Also, be grateful for what you do. Not only just recognizing the value in what you create and what you do in your career, but also just be thankful for it, because just recognize that this is all a choice, and there's definitely it was definitely a possibility that you don't have any of it. And so just be thankful for it, and just being thankful for the ability to do what you do, to create, to have your passion be your career. Being able to recognize that is an opportunity to do it, it not only just helps you maintain a healthy connection to what you do, it also helps you when you are overwhelmed and you're busy. So also, just have fun. Find ways to have fun with what you're doing. Find ways to remind yourself of the initial joy that you had and what made you pursue creativity in the first place. And even though you do it all the time, find ways to enjoy what you do, to enjoy the process, and to just make the process smoother. And personally, for me, this is something that I have learned recently, which I have implemented into how I work. Once I realized that I would be on the computer a lot with a lot of what I do as a creative, when it comes to doing graphics, to editing photos, to video, to audio production, I started playing music in the background. And this only applies for the tasks that I have that don't require a high level of concentration and focus. But I've learned the benefits of just putting music on in the background and just having that help ease you into your work process, to help stimulate you. So I'll put a DJ playlist in the background on YouTube, and I will just be coasting along, editing photos or doing a graphic, and it has made my process so much more enjoyable. Like, I promise you, putting on music in the background, music that you like, it makes the whole creative process so much smoother and so much more enjoyable. So I recommend find a good DJ playlist on YouTube and just have that playing in the background, on a 45-minute timer with no distractions, just to focus on your work, and the time will go by faster than you think. That has been the biggest improvement I have made to my work ethic or work routine in these last couple months that has helped me substantially. Also, establish a routine for your creative process and for how you get work done. And once you establish that routine for yourself and you're familiar with how you go about the process, you'll be more familiar with what you need to do to get work done. And once you establish that routine, you can find ways to make creating fun and to getting work done enjoyable. I recommend in a previous episode to do 45 minutes on, 15 minutes off, of 45 minutes concentrated work, no distractions, with 15-minute rest. And during that 45-minute period of concentrated work, put some music on in the background and with no distractions. And you will be surprised at how much you get done within that concentrated period. And 15 minutes, honestly, is just enough time to rejuvenate yourself so you can get back into that concentrated 45-minute period. But find a way to make the process enjoyable while also making it productive as well. And last of all, this is pretty much what encompasses this entire video, but prioritize yourself. Prioritize rest, prioritize feeling good, your happiness, prioritize what you value. And as long as you keep putting yourself at the forefront and just prioritizing what makes you feel good, you will continue to find the value in what you do and what you create, and you'll maintain a healthy connection to being a creative and just your path and journey as a professional creative. And that will do it for this episode. If you like this episode, please go like it on YouTube, go rate me on Spotify. If you want to stay updated with the socials, the Instagram is at as.a.creative. And if you want to stay updated with me and what I do, I go by Rubios at ROOBIOS. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.